Manifestation is the easiest thing that you will ever do and the hardest thing that you will ever learn, especially if you are living in the Western world. And by Western world, I mean westernized, anything that isn't Aboriginal. So if you're watching this video, you're in luck because I truly feel that your six-figure years and even six-figure months are coming, that you are going to be low-key rich if you stick to the plan. And you got to ask yourself, what is your plan to escape your job and start a business? If you don't have a job, if you're not making any money, how are you going to make $1 in the first place? What is the plan for that? And if you don't have a plan for that, then you got to ask yourself the harder question, why the hell not? Because you live in absolutely one of the best times ever in human history to experience affluence and to have anything that you've ever wanted. The poorest person today on welfare and food stamps, which I can say this, I used to be on welfare and food stamps and racked up my credit cards. But if this is you, the poorest person today lives better than a king in the Middle Ages.
Feel the fire, see the dream, coat of stars in my bloodstream. This is power, not just invention. This is life in the destiny engine.
A king. You live better than a king. You can eat food that is refrigerated. You have access to salt. You have hygienic drinking water. You can order any type of cuisine that you want. You can have Chinese tonight, Mexican tomorrow, Thai on Thursday. You can cook at home. You can go out. You can get fast food. You can have food fresh cooked in 60 seconds. Do you think that a king in the Middle Ages, no matter how much he pouted, yelled, demanded, badgered his servants, could have a fresh meal, whatever he pleased, delivered to him within 60 seconds or less? Absolutely not. Do you think that a king in the Middle Ages had access to the entire sum of human knowledge at his fingertips? Absolutely not. The Library of Alexandria ain't nothing compared to what you and I had just a decade ago in Wikipedia. And I'm not even talking about AI yet, guys. I mean, within the last 2 years, literally everything shifted. And the last video got some interesting comments, and people are asking, well, if I sign up for all the subscriptions that you're telling me, it's going to cost a lot of money, and I don't really even know how I'm going to create the leverage that they offered me. And I talked about this, like how having a subscription to ChatGPT, Claude, Midjourney, some of these agentic frameworks is exactly what Starseeds, Chosen Ones, Master Manifestors need in order to create leverage on their time, especially if you can't afford servants, which is how we classically would get leverage on our time, is we would hire people to do our bidding for us. And you could get people that, if you lived in the Americas, you could get somebody in the quote unquote third world to help you out, and you created an arrangement where they got a nice healthy paycheck. You create a job and they work for you standard hours, and you get leverage on your standard 9 to 5 type of paycheck. And this was available to kind of the upper middle class if you could afford $500 to $1,000 a month per person. Somebody in India, somebody in Pakistan, somebody in Nigeria. You could do that. Somebody in South America. But if you're a little bit strapped, if you're lower to middle class, then probably that's not really an option to create that leverage on your time, because if you are not making money while you are sleeping, then you will never escape the rat race, and you will never experience the freedom that the low-key rich, like myself, live every single day. Go where I want, when I want. I travel. I've got a place by the beach. I can go out on the ocean whenever I want. And, that's just the lifestyle that I chose. Your friends will be a lot cooler when you are low-key rich. You can help a lot more people when you are low-key rich. And we're not talking billionaire rich. You don't need billions. That takes actual work. Low-key rich is actually easy when you create the leverage on your time. And this is where you got to develop a situational awareness as a starseed, as a master manifester. What is going on around you in the world? You got to keep up with the times. All right. I used to look at the internet. I think I was a little bit ahead of the times when I saw it this way. But when I did experiments with astral travel in my younger years, I came to realize that the contents of people's astral bodies were sort of emotionality, intention. That's where those aspects of your being live, is on the astral. And so your intentions are broadcast instantaneously in the astral. And that's why I think that the internet itself is a physical representation of the collective's astral intentions, emotionality, thoughts, wishes, hopes, dreams, knowledge. This is all astral type of data. And even the storage medium, how it's accessed, is ephemeral. I had a friend once asked me, because they knew I was a techie, and his name was Diego, and he asked, Mike, I was wondering, I've used the internet, and I know how to browse the web, and there's all this knowledge out there, but it's not really on your computer. It's not really on your phone. What is the internet? Like, what is it? Like, where is the internet? And it actually kind of takes a whole, mini college course, if you're at that level of understanding, to wrap your head around the fact that the internet isn't anything specific, and it isn't anywhere in particular. It is ephemeral. Like the cloud as a concept it does not exist anywhere. It's virtual. It lives in the world of concepts. It isn't in this world. And when we start to get into AI, we're coming into the territory where you need to rack up these subscriptions. And I spend literally hundreds, if not thousands of dollars every single month on these type of tools that buy me extra leverage, because as the age accelerates into this elemental fire, the quality of what's going on in the world around us is of fire. As we move in further and further into this age of fire that started 2 years ago, that ability to speak an intention and to have it just materialize immediately is going to become more and more dramatic. And that's what AI actually offers us, is the ability to speak an intention into existence. That is, when you make a request of ChatGPT, of Claude, you ask it a question or you have a dialogue with it, it actually produces an answer faster than most humans could actually think of the same answer. And they're not always as deep, but it actually does come up with something thoughtful faster than humans could actually do it, and compiles it into a document faster than a human could type it. And it's immediate, and you can make changes immediately. Things that would take days to do with a freelancer are now available to you in seconds with a $20 a month subscription, with a $30 a month subscription. So what's out there right now is a literal gold mine. And if you're not waking up every single day overjoyed that you are living in such a prosperous age, regardless of forget all the bullshit about how the economy's in the shitter. Fuck that. The economy is not that doesn't apply to you. Don't you get it? If you're a master manifester, the economy doesn't apply. You can just go with your bucket to the infinity well and draw yourself some prosperity and take it back home with you. You guys are going to the well with a teaspoon. At least take a bucket with you. When you go into the literal gold mine that is the internet, where you can make screw you money. You can make money. You can look your boss dead in the eye and tell him, no, I'm not going to do that, and walk away like this afternoon. You could do that if you really crack this code, because once you get the leverage, it's easy. All right. So when you go into this gold mine, I want you to think about what your ancestors, if your ancestors were watching you right now from heaven or hell or wherever they wound up, if they're watching you right now live in this age like a king, and not jumping for joy, leaping out of bed every single morning to go into the literal gold mine that they only could have dreamed of, that actually most of your ancestors wouldn't have even dared to dream of what we have today. They wouldn't believe it. That, imagine how excited they would be after a life of struggle, of hardship. My grandfather worked on a farm. He grew up on the family farm. He woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning to milk the cows and, tend to the chickens before walking like 5 miles to a one-room schoolhouse where they taught grades K through 8, and then walk back in the dark and still have chores to do when he got back. His brother got unalived by having a tractor fall on top of him. Okay, that's how hard life was in Wisconsin, less than 100 years ago. Go back a little farther, you would spend most of your day like going and finding wood, chopping wood, and, getting clean water and pulling weeds. This kind of thing was never available. So, people were asking, like, how do you actually use these subscriptions to make money? How do you use ChatGPT to make money? How do you use Claude to make money? Well, first of all, there was an adage that originated in the 2000s, just freaking Google it, which you could do, but why don't you just ask ChatGPT? Why don't you do a full audit of your capabilities, your interests, your knowledge, and just type all of that into ChatGPT and ask it, how can I make fast, easy money online? And it will start spitballing with you. If you don't like any of the ideas it throws out there, tell it, I don't like it. Give me more. act like a spoiled prince in the Middle Ages. You know, the court jester, like, your jokes do not please me. Here, shove this up your butt. That will amuse me. Yeah, so do that with ChatGPT. And it'll just give you a list. And then if you've never heard of some of the things in the list or you don't know how, ask it, how do I do that? Something catches your eye, how do I do that? And then start forming an idea. Use it as a head bounce. All right, so a lot of people are channeling with ChatGPT. I love that. A lot of people are channeling inside Destiny Engine. And let me just speak about what you're going to do with your Destiny Engine subscription. So, you know what Destiny Engine is? Destiny Engine is the ultimate AI tool that we developed at the Astral Atom Network because we wanted to be able to adjust in real time our reticular activation systems. This was not meant to be marketed to anybody. This was an internal tool that I developed for Ari and myself that we used to remove our limiting beliefs, because there's this thing that lets you manifest on easy mode called your reticular activation system. If you don't know what reticular activation system is, go look that up, because this is the key to unlocking your ability to allow that prosperity in. It's trying to come into your life. That's the quality of this fire age, is everything that you've ever wanted or needed or it's all coming into your life as we speak, but the only thing standing in your way is your ability to reach out and grab it. And this isn't some Oprah Winfrey bullshit where you just wish for it and it happens. This is your ability to seize on an opportunity, because you're surrounded by opportunities. And I bet a lot of the folks watching this video, they're good people. You know, you're extremely developed spiritually, but you were probably misled in school. You were probably programmed not to see these types of opportunities. As I know I was not educated to be a business person. I was educated to be a cog in the wheel, to be a classically trained engineer, a code monkey that if they said jump, I would say how high. And, what do you have the functional spec? I'll code you from the functional spec. I'm not like that anymore because I deprogram myself. So Destiny Engine is going to reach into your brain and scramble all that programming. All you got to do, link in the description, sign up. It's $1 for a week. Try it out. And then you get to the chat bot and you tell it exactly what you want to manifest. Tell it exactly what kind of change you want to see in your life. I want to lose weight. I want to be happier. I want the relationship. I want a lot of money. I want time freedom. I want to contact my star family. I want to learn lucid dreaming. I want to astral project. All of these things, just dare to ask for it, type it in, and it's going to give you a meditation program that we call an exploit, because that's what hackers do when you're discovering some vulnerability in a system. In this case, the Matrix. Discover a vulnerability in the Matrix is called an exploit. It'll give you the exploit, which is essentially binaural beats encoded with affirmations using one of these AI subscriptions that I talked about, the AI voice clone of your own voice, or the voice of your guru, the voice of your mentor, the voice of your star family. You upload a sample of your own voice, and all of a sudden, it just sounds like your own thoughts, and the binaural beats adjust your conscious frequency, your actual brainwave frequency, into theta state using this hemisync type of technology. It's the craziest thing with stereo headphones. It'll drop you down into theta state. You reprogram yourself with affirmations in your own voice, and it creates the hours-long tracks that you can just fall asleep to. You wake up a different person in seconds, and that is the power of these type of tools. And like I said, this was an internal tool that Ari and I developed for ourselves, that we realized, wait a second, we could help a lot of people to start to see the opportunity to open up their reticular activation system. Because your problem is not that there isn't opportunity. Your problem is that when the opportunity arrives, you literally don't even see it. The reticular activation system is a part of your brain that locks on to items in your environment with attention and focus. It governs your attention and focus. And if you if your reticular activation system is trained to look for things that don't serve you, such as evidence that your life is not going well, evidence that you're broke, evidence that you're not in good health, it will reinforce those patterns, and it looks for more things. It's a compounding effect. Like, the more evidence you see for broke, sick, tired, the more that you'll feel that. It'll reinforce in your nervous system, and then you see even more evidence of that. It's a vicious cycle. Now, the inverse of that is the upward spiral, that you can train your RAS to look for things that reinforce your success. And the more success you get, the more evidence that your RAS has to look for even more signs and clues, omens, if you will. This is what the spirituality community refers to as omens. When you see an omen, it's your reticular activation system latching onto a piece of evidence to reinforce your worldview, to reinforce your belief. Okay? So that's what we do with Destiny Engine. That's one tool in your toolbox. Now, back to your business. When the easiest way that you can just start out making money online is to develop partnerships with rich people. Go get rich people that need a product or service built for them, done for them, what have you, and partner with them. Would you believe that there are literal billionaires that will partner with you on day one? Like, you've never done anything in this field before. You've never made money outside of a W-2 type of employment scenario. Would you believe that there exists a billionaire that would go into a business level partnership with you? It's 100% true. And this is actually how the so-called creator economy works. So if you're watching this on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, those platforms are implementing literal revenue sharing programs with content creators. They brought the platform, it's like if you have a like you want to throw a party and you've got a friend with a cool place. Maybe you don't have a cool place. Maybe your friend's got a cool place, but your friend's not that organized, and he doesn't really know how to network and invite a bunch of people, or doesn't really know what kind of cocktails to make. Well, you can say, hey, you can cut a deal with your friend. Hey, like, you just provide the place, you clean it up, and I'm going to bring all the cool people. I'm going to go buy a bunch of cocktails, and we're going to have happy hour at your place on Friday night. And so you're a little bit organized, you're a little bit savvy, and you put this together, and it's a partnership that you have an amazing party just because you cut a deal that, that deal itself didn't cost you anything, but both of you got an amazing party. So something similar is happening right now with YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, that they have the platform, but they need these people called content creators to actually bring the party, to bring the human energy, because AI still can't 100% do it yet. But if you bring that human energy, if you bring that party to the place. All right, you got the friend with the place. YouTube will partner with you. It's called the YouTube Partner Program. That if you create content that people resonate with, YouTube will actually share the revenue from every ad that's shown to every person that consumes your content. And it's almost 50-50. It's one of the best partner programs on the entire internet. Amazon works similarly, although drop shipping is a little more difficult to get into. You could ask ChatGPT how to get into all these things and really pick your poison as to what you're actually able to do. You know, because you're so spiritual watching this now, you probably have a lot of skills, a lot of knowledge, a lot of stories. A lot of you have stories that are way more interesting than mine. I've talked to a bunch of you, and you know, like I've got cool stories, but like honestly, the internet is hungry for stories. YouTube is hungry for your stories. Facebook is hungry for your stories. And if you, maybe the only thing you're missing is a little bit of organization and know-how to just be able to make the connection and become a content creator. Because literally all you got to do is talk. And that's quite a bit easier than how we actually started the Astral Atom Network. It's a little bit more circuitous than that. We used a lot more AI than that. And you can absolutely go full AI on content creation if you want. You can create a fully automated AI content machine that just pays you 24/7. It's a little tricky to set up, but where you could start is just create the leverage for yourself. If you ever say, caught yourself saying, I need help with XYZ, if I just had an assistant that could, well, now you do. ChatGPT, Claude, right? You need an image, Midjourney or ChatGPT. If you need a voiceover, if you need somebody to read an audiobook that you want to sell, go to 11 Labs. I teach classes on this every Friday. In fact, I got one in about an hour through a program where I paid literally $7,000 to learn how to do faceless YouTubing, which is a practice of you have a team that helps you create content that's entertaining for people. They watch it, and because there's ads shown, you get paid. And I'm especially good with computers. I'm especially good with automation. I'm especially good with AI. And so the creator of that course that I paid all this money to actually asked me once Ari and I started getting success with the channels, is that could I lead a call every Friday on how to use AI for faceless YouTubing? And so I've been doing that for maybe a year and a half now. Now I've worked with a handful of people actually in this community to start to build up their online presence. And I don't know everything in the world. I don't know everything about how to launch a channel. There's some strategies that work very, very well, and there are some ways that they don't work at all. And so if you don't have the right strategy, you're liable to just waste a lot of time. And so that's the knowledge I paid $7,000 to figure out. Was there's people that came before you that actually went and figured this stuff out by trial and error. And if you just go and you find their course, or you ask them a question, they can probably save you weeks, months, years of trial and error and just get you to the goal. And we've thought about offering this type of training to the spiritual community, because like I said, a lot of you got really great stories. You got a lot of great content already in your personal experience, and people want to hear it. Everybody loves a story. And if you can tell a story, people will stick around and listen to it, and you'll get paid for it. Or if you've got a skill, if you're a healer, you could offer your services as a Reiki master, as a yoga teacher. Whatever it is that you do, there's a market for it somewhere. And this could take the form of, like I said, if you're partnering with billionaires, there's making content, there's print on demand. So that's the content creation with, say, TikTok. It's really easy to blow up on TikTok, by the way. And if you're just willing to put in the time every single day, post every day, you can get a serious following on TikTok in very short order. But once you have your audience, you can do email marketing. You can get people on a daily newsletter. You can sell courses. You can sell digital products. And the more you get into this type of thing, the more you realize that the opportunities are actually limitless. The more that you succeed, the more and bigger opportunities start to come to you. Like we started in spirituality niche with the Astral Atom Network because it's what I'm passionate about. It's what I know. I've studied this kind of material for years and years and years. I've talked to angels, demons, gods, goddesses, and they've all assured me that the Tree of Knowledge is the most interesting choice in the cosmos to make right now. And some people ask me, well, what kind of starseed are you? And I don't necessarily have an answer to what kind of starseed am I. I guess I'll leave the mystery to you to figure out. But what do you care, like what kind of starseed you are anyway? But don't get hung up on the minutia. Like if you know everything, like that's one area. Like I don't know if I'm a starseed. Like there's other people in our company that handle the starseed stuff. Like I don't know everything, and I don't have to know everything in order to get started. I'm taking you along with me on my journey. And if this is the type of manifestation that is interesting to you, I want you to take other people along with you on your journey by sharing your journey with them. Because really, in order to help somebody out, in order to help them get from point A to point B, you only really need to be about 2 steps ahead. You don't need to know the whole picture. But if you figure out 1 or 2 steps ahead of where somebody's at, they're going to be grateful to you that you were able to shine a light on the path. And so I hope that in this video I have done at least some of that partially for you. If this was helpful for you, I would love if you could drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps us out a ton with the algorithm. We're a small time creator. We're not a gigantic corporation or anything like that. And drop a comment with any questions that you have. I loved your comments last time. I thought they were super helpful for guiding this conversation. I wanted to make this sort of a mini series dialogue where we can play off each other, go back and forth. And I want to see what comes of it with y'all. So thank you. This has been Mike from the Astral Atom Network, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.